Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Ha ha! Hello! Yay!
Yay! It is Monday night. It's Schnitzel night. It's Schnitzel night.
And we're defying the odds yet again.
Those odds, never tell me the odds, because we're defying them.
We're defying them.
We're defying them.
We know there's a chance, and we take it.
There's a chance. We take it. We're good gamblers because we're always defying those odds. It is Monday night. It's Schnitzel night. We got Daniel Young in the chat talking about going to a Burna Boy concert.
Burna Boy. Yeah, we're now going to be two middle-aged white men pretending to know who Burna Boy is. Yeah, last is a song of his I like.
I like to party, I believe is what it was called. Hold on, let me go back. His first one?
What?
No, it wasn't I like to party. His
No,
first hit was
his first hit.
It is Like to Party. Like
to Party. Yep.
Now it's what we read it in the comments here earlier, and we're like, oh, who is it? Look it up. Shows you how ignorant we are. But it was a lot of fun. How was it? Like a full house? Was it like a big house in Citi Field? What was the crowd like?
Yeah, tell us everything, Daniel.
And I went. So it was Daniel. It was your first ever concert. I went to my second ever concert last night, and I'm challenging Bjorn to guess it. It was one of the coolest experiences I ever had.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big nerd in a lot of ways, and it relates to me being a big nerd. It was at the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay.
I've never been to the Hollywood. 17,000 people were there. It was a full house. I've never been to the Hollywood Bowl before, but it was amazing.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Close. If you had to think, he is the best. He is by a country mile the best movie composer of all time. Who would it be?
John Williams?
Yes, exactly. I saw John Williams live last night playing all of his music from all of his movies.
What do you mean, him personally? No, there was an orchestra.
No. He's 92. He does this every summer. He's been doing it since 1979. Him and the LA Philharmonic. So it's the LA Philharmonic. And then they have a guy named, their current conductor is a guy named Gustavo Dudamel or something like that.
Yeah,
so the first act they play.
He's coming to New York. He's taking over the New York Philharmonic next year or the year after. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Who's going to take over the LA Phil? The New York Phil guy? I don't
know. It's like it's like coaching. It's like coaches in soccer. It's sort of a rotating. It's the same handful of dudes get rotated around. I think Gustavo Dudamel stands out as being rising to prominence very young, actually. But that was a while ago, so he's not as young as he used to be anymore.
Compared to John Williams, he's a baby.
Compared to John Williams, probably. So what does John Williams? John Williams conducts. He plays. What does he do?
Yeah, and he fights a lightsaber battle at the end of the show. It's very cool. So
what?
I'm dead serious. So it's Hollywood Bowl. There's 17,000 people. Everyone has their own lightsaber out. Lights are off. It's just so cool. And then Gustavo Dudamel does the first act. And he played Duel of the Fates from Star Wars. He played and then at the end of the first act he plays the Superman theme from 1978, which John Williams also composed.
Okay.
And then showing photos of John Williams with the Queen and Oprah and like the president and all that stuff. And then I think he also plays the Olympics theme because John Williams wrote that. And then when intermission was over, John Williams comes out. We give a round of applause. He takes a microphone. And then he conducts the whole second half of the show. And in between, he has stories about like, oh, I've worked with the soloist for 30 years. It's the 30th anniversary of the Schindler's List song. And then the soloist takes everyone to tears. And then at the very end of the show, he's playing Star Wars and he plays Yoda's theme, and they have the green lights on for all that. And then he picks up the mic, he goes, "This is E.T." And he just drops it, and everyone like claps. Like every time he plays a song, everyone just gives him a standing ovation. And then at the end, Gustavo Dudamel comes out with a lightsaber, walking from off stage.
And
with
they
a big
fight.
red lightsaber, and he goes to John Williams, and he starts to conduct it with the lightsaber, and then the little conductor's thing also becomes a little red lightsaber, and then someone gives John Williams a green lightsaber. Then John Williams and Gustavo Dudamel like pretend to fight with lightsabers as they get off the stage. It is like such a fun show.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
So that was my second ever show. Perfect nerddom. And dude, John Williams, he wrote so much was left out. He wrote Jaws. He wrote Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Jurassic Park, you know? That is
Jurassic Park, he did play Jurassic Park. He played the Jurassic Park theme, and it is amazing.
I mean, Jurassic Park is kind of, it's under, you know, as a soundtrack, it's like, you know,
It's amazing.
Steven Spielberg goes, "Can you write some music for my dinosaur movie?" And he just writes these incredible,
And then I go on YouTube, and essentially he tours the world. There's a lot of videos of him at the Berlin Philharmonie, the Berlin Philharmonie, and then in Wien at the Wiener Philharmonie, and that beautiful old thing that could easily have. I should Google it, but I imagine that's also where like Mozart played his stuff back in the day. It's in Vienna. It's this beautiful golden like building or something. But anyway, John Williams is there working with all these different bands. He does the Boston Pops and stuff. He just goes around the world and they play his music and he tours the world. And it's amazing. And
that sounds great.
Yeah, so that was my second ever concert.
How did it compare to? Was it better or worse than Rammstein?
It was different on many levels, but they're both of them.
That's a pretty good. Like if you had to pick two shows, that shows some a well-rounded quality.
I have a well-rounded taste. Let's put it that way. It was very cool.
Just the update here: Gustavo Dudamel is going to take over the New York Philharmonic, effective with the 2026-2027 season. So unlike coaching changes, they plan this way ahead. So Gustavo Dudamel is going to arrive just ahead of the NYCFC Stadium
if he survives that far ahead.
He's only 42, but he did. Why would you assume that would happen?
I'm not assuming. I'm just saying life happens. I don't know. Life happens. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that could happen if he had a contract starting this summer. It doesn't.
I would love it if soccer did that. Like this summer, like NYCFC signs a coach, and on his introductory press conference, "This is Nick Cushing. He's our new coach. Also, we want to take this time to announce that in 2027 we've got Patrick Vieira coming back as well."
Well, I keep thinking that Pep Guardiola is coming in around that same time, because he said he's going to do 2 more years. He has a place in New York. He likes it here, and he said he's going to have 2 more years at City. So that's 23, 24, and so by 25, 26 or whatever, maybe he'll take a year off and then he'll come to open the stadium. That'd be fun.
Well, this is another good. This is what I've been thinking about a couple times. I believe when NYCFC move into their stadium in 2027 or 2026, depending on who you believe, they're going to sign.
2027 is the earliest it could happen.
Well, there was news though where a city councilman said it could be open before the World Cup. Now, granted, he's just talking, but
no, there's no chance of that.
I agree. I mean, with the mob, you got to pay off the mob and all that stuff, so it's going to take a few years.
The mob?
Yeah, you got to.
Is that still a thing?
It is in my mind. Anyway, so let's say NYCFC,
the Willits Point mob,
mafia,
a handful of 85-year-old dudes. They've just been sitting there waiting for 20 years for the payoff. The big, eventually they're going to build something here. It's going to be big. We're going to make a lot. They're going to pay us off.
They're all sitting in folding chairs.
They're all exactly. They've just
right off the Willits Point stop.
They've just been waiting for the big payoff. This is their last stand.
Hey, we got them to get all those deeds for all those mechanic shops. Yeah. They owe us. And it's very similar to the plot of Romeo Must Die, by the way. if you've ever seen that movie.
I have not.
It's a great movie, great Jet Li martial arts movie. The whole point is that the NFL is building a new stadium in Oakland, and the mafia is collecting all the deeds for the waterfront to make that happen. And they're doing it very legitimately. So when I think of Queens opening a stadium in the middle of Auto Mechanics Row, I'm like, I mean, I don't know. They need to get those deeds somehow.
Well, that's been going on for a while, though. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe
anyway,
those dudes are real.
Who do you think would be the world's biggest 32-year-old has-been star at that time that NYCFC can sign to open up the new stadium? Would it be Harry Kane?
Well, supposedly Christian Pulisic is then ready. That was discussed, right? That he's like going to be after a couple more years in Europe, he's going to be the face of.
That's an idea. That's actually
could be him. Although I don't think he's not a CFG kind of guy. I don't think is my sense, but who knows? And who else could we?
Trying to think who would be like, Karim Benzema or something. I'm sure who would be
Karim Benzema is going to Saudi Arabia. That's a one-way street.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like who's going to be 35, 34, 33 in 2027? That's a big star right now. That means right now they would be 29, 30, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So it would be Harry Kane probably.
Harry Kane, let's go. I accept.
Yeah, 33-year-old or 34-year-old Harry Kane. How old is he now?
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not a spring chicken. But would he go to City Football Group?
Sure.
Yeah, he just goes for the money. He's 29. So, yeah, he'd be 32. That's a good age.
Perfect. Good age. We'll take Harry Kane.
So that's my shit.
Fighter pilot looking Harry Kane. Not really. I think for Queens, we probably need a little bit more South American. How about Gabriel Jesus? Maybe like kind of aiming a little lower here.
That makes sense, but is Gabriel Jesus a draw of a name though?
No.
You know what I mean? Like we know he's a good player, but it's not like if Gabriel Jesus showed up in New York.
Oh, you're talking
like, Gabriel Jesus.
Now, this is part of the Messi effect that we have to. We're shooting for the stars. It's got to be only the biggest names. So yeah, then I guess Harry Kane. Yeah, Harry Kane is it. Who else on Germany? I can't even think of.
No, Germany
of
doesn't
anyone.
Have good
I think we would have. Oh, by the way, I know this is the U.S. hour, but since we're on summer break with the German hour.
Sure, hey.
Basti Schweinsteiger. Do you see this? Basti Schweinsteiger said.
About Pep Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola ruined German soccer. This really was an odd thing.
Well, that was the U.S. version. That was the German version of Landon's Pulisic needs to come to MLS comments. Very explosive, very debatable, and out of context. I would say. I think it was
okay. Tell me.
It was from the
ZDF
then. Broadcast or something, right? He was just on the side of the field.
No, this was. I saw a clip on Twitter where he was just kind of giving a Zoom looking interview. I don't know. I mean, he definitely, he's not an idiot.
No, that we know of. Maybe
that we know of. But he did kind of, sort of preface this by saying like it's hard to say this in two sentences, and he wanted to convey that he understood there was some nuance to this idea. But like he basically, the gist of it was that there was an identity to Germany, where they fight and the Germans are a fighting team. They run more than everybody else. And then Pep came along, and now everybody wants to just do pretty passes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
I was really. I like Bus. I mean, obviously he's a legend. I also kind of like him as a guy. He seemed, but like I had a hard time, like even finding anything to connect to what he was saying.
I think right now Germans are at a loss, and they're offering whatever they can. Because he's not the only hot take that's been offered, Mateo. So, but his is full of holes. Like, Pep Guardiola was there for 3 years. Bayern München had their best season the year before he arrived, and then he showed up, and then they've been fine. Like they won before Pep, they won after Pep, and the German national team won around that time too. But they were on a trajectory from 2010 onward.
And 2014, also 2014. It's not like we won. He was on that team. We won. That team was not a team of bruisers. There was Toni Kroos and Mesut Özil and people who were definitely playing first, kind of. And that was way before.
It's from the Academy Revolution. Pep Guardiola had nothing to do with it. When the German reboot happened,
sorry, no, go ahead.
Yeah, when the German reboot happened and they had all the academies, they changed the way they trained the German player, and that's just what happened. In 2014 came, and we won the World Cup that way. And German players are a little bit different than they used to be, but that's because the whole world of football is different than it used to be. Football evolves. So to sit there and say that we do too many sideways passes and try to do a tiki-taka too much, that's not what I'm seeing, A. But B, if he wants us to be more direct, then I'm all for it. Whatever it gets us winning.
Well, it's also, this is the other thing that didn't make any sense to me. It's not like this is an either or kind of a thing. Intensity is still good. Intensity and being strong one-on-one, like Pep's teams. If you look at City, it's not like they are complacent. They have a very high intensity team. They are, and he went out of his way to get those guys fired up. It's not like this idea that this is like this clinical thing, and you just kind of. I think is nonsense. This is not the case. I think anytime. All things being equal, the higher intensity team is often going to have the advantage, no matter what your tactics or your whatever it is. So this is always like you got to go hard,
or you have to go home.
To begin with, you have to go hard, or you have to go home. Thank you. Exactly what I'm trying to say. And if this German team currently is lacking some intensity, or is lacking that fight, then it ain't Pep Guardiola's fault.
He's not related. He left in 2016. He's been gone for 7 years now. So don't worry about Pep. Pep's gone. But I think it's as simple as that. When a TV show starts to fail, the analysts come out. When we lose, if a penalty, kind of like when the U.S. missed the World Cup, if the ball went 4 inches to the left and got in the goal as opposed to right, then everything's good. Everyone's a genius.
Right.
But because it was 4 inches to the right, we've been in analysis for 4 years.
That's always the case because of these small margins, and then it's like, the ball just went to the right, and all your life decisions that you've made up to this point are responsible for this. Yeah. Right. No. But that's where, if of course, if there's like RTL pundits or whatever saying this kind of thing, you don't even pay attention. But I don't know. Basti Schweinsteiger? Disappointing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's offering us 2 cents. Maybe he'll clarify. I don't know. It's his opinion. He's there. I'm not. What I will say is the analysis to me, as far as German soccer in general, really boils down to this. It's maybe a bigger issue, but it's like we have this reboot and we have this plethora of all these young German stars coming through the system and created this golden generation where they won the World Cup. And since that's been over, the well has run dry. I don't know where the new players are. Where are our number 9s? Where are our defensive wingers? We do have we have a strong midfield pack, sure, but that's about it. Our center backs are also disappointing. It's like, where is this? Our well ran dry. So we're waiting on a new generation of players coming through, and the gap is big. Germany is kind of in what the U.S. was in 2018. It's like a transitional moment where the old players are too old, and the young players are a little too young right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the difference being that also we've been spoiled rotten by the consistency of our, when I'm talking about Germany, they've just been so good for so long. So our expectations are also high.
Well, however, with that being said, not getting out of the group 2 times in a row is for the quality of players that we have.
Yeah.
Even though the well is run dry, that's in German terms. They're still good, decent quality players.
Well, I mean, yeah, we don't have to talk about that again. Like, I think this last time we were a little unfortunate. I think that we deserve to go through on the quality of performance. The 2018 we did not. 2020, when was this? 2022.
2021. Well, 2018 was a psychology thing, and 2022 was, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it was a psychology thing. It was also Yogi Löw being firmly in his Vegas phase, feeling like he doesn't need a defensive midfielder, that kind of thing. Anyway, I think there's more. That was different. I think they deserve to go out. And last time, I don't think. I thought they played well enough to advance, and then who knows? But
to fix Germany, they need better players. That's what I'm saying. They need better number nines. Like they need to wait a little bit.
The number nine thing is true, but there's tons of countries. I mean, who are the absolute world class number nines? Like there's 3 or 4, 5, who are we talking about? Harry Kane, Lewandowski, Benzema is going to
France has Benzema, Christopher Nkunku, and a guy named Kylian Mbappe.
But he's a winger.
France
like
has got players.
But he's Mbappe's a winger. He's not a 9 necessarily. But
yeah, Lewandowski.
I think
Erling
I'm just saying that we share that problem with a lot of other countries, that we don't have
True.
a world class number 9. I think, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we'll talk about this many more times. I was like, Basti Schweinsteiger, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it just made me furrow my brow. Anyway,
our next segment of the Germany America Hour is that there was a big. I need to read this article in deep. I just read Derek Ray's translation of it, but there was a huge slam piece against Ricardo Pepi in Kicker today. It was called "The American Nightmare," and it was about Ricardo Pepi's transfer to Augsburg, how he's too expensive, and how he was just not a good player. And it quotes Marcus Weinziel, coach at the time, being like he did not match our expectations, and just talked about how Ricardo Pepi was essentially it's just he's overpriced and under-talented. Was what the article was about. And they're not, they have their opinions, obviously. I can't help but respond to it. It's like he was stripped right out of MLS, a little thin kid, only played pro for a year, and you put him right on the field of the Bundesliga field. Well, and was he amazing? No, but also Augsburg in general was not amazing. And I don't know, should you have known who the player was before you got him? Shouldn't you have known him before you spent money on him? And this is happening at the exact same time that Gladbach are still trying to sign Brandon Vasquez. They're still, I just read today, they're still after it. I think Brandon Vasquez has a $10 million price tag, and Gladbach think that's too high. And that's also another situation. A, maybe Ricardo Pepi set a precedence where German clubs want to pay less. But B, we also live in a world where $8 million is nothing in the world market, right? I mean,
at the time, right, it did seem like a lot. 20 million for
Augsburg
seemed aggressive for Augsburg. Yeah, I think they had their American investor kick in some. Right. That's why
half was paid by.
That's how this all came to be. And
but he was great in Dallas. He went to Holland. Holland is a lesser league with Crush. Now he's going to PSV. So the only variable in this whole thing is Augsburg, right? Aren't they the ones who? Like, they talk about how Ricardo Pepi was underperforming and not good. It's like, yeah, but a year later, he's now the star forward over at PSV. So, who's to blame here?
We'll see about star forward at PSV. That's to be determined. But
true, but he scored a lot of goals in Groningen.
Goals in Groningen, yeah.
Augsburg's he scores goals for his national team. His Dutch club is American club. The German club is the only club that couldn't get any goals out of him. Now, I don't know if that's the Bundesliga or the club or a mix or what, but I find it very interesting that they had a player for half a season and then they throw him under the bus and write a whole article about how he's not very good.
Well, it's kind of right. It's like, exactly. You bought him. So if you want to, you're really only criticizing yourself. But it's such a crapshoot, right? Like when you come, it's just such a cult. We see this the opposite direction all the time. Europeans coming to MLS, and even if it's not, obviously not a better league, or just the transition is always
Right.
it's always hard. Always takes a little time, and I guess when you spend that much money, you don't expect you want to see stuff immediately, but it's just not it's not always how it works. People are people. People are humans, and they're not machines. It's not like you just take a chess piece from one board to the other and it will perform
Seamless,
the same. It's not how it goes. It's always a little time involved, and he seems like he's figuring it out, which is great. And Augsburg, whatever. I mean,
they're not figuring it out. So
Augsburg's still gonna be Augsburg.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring that up. Okay, we had a big week this week, dude. I had a great time.
Tons of games.
I went to 2 live games this week. I might go to another one. I've been going.
I only went to one. I just went to one.
Yeah. Here's another question for you, Bjorn.
Yes, I'm ready.
Nick Cushing loves to go shop at the Men's Warehouse. A great suit outlet, great for suits. I ran into him the other day at the Men's Warehouse, and he couldn't help but leave a certain section of the store. It's his favorite store. He told me, "I'm here all day, every day. I buy from this section. The lot is my favorite section. I'm a kid in a candy store. I love this section." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, Nick." What section of the store do you think Nick Cushing was at?
The ties.
Bingo! I caught him in the tie section. He loved ties, man. Buy one, get one, 3 for 1.
That's really good.
That dude's covered in ties.
Yeah. This was very funny.
Did you like the long way? You like the long way?
Very,
was it worth the
funny.
punchline? Was it worth the punchline? And then I ran up. Then I left. I went to Jose Bank. Dude, he was the tie section there too.
Oh my God!
Then I went up to Brooks Brothers.
Just loves those ties.
I went to Brooks Brothers. He was at the tie section too. He's like all the places at once. You know,
It's
the pie shop?
Very,
He's all
very
about that
funny.
pie shop.
Yeah, very funny. Except if you listen to his press conferences, he does not love these ties at all.
What is it, 11 in a row? Like literally, you guys tie every week.
7 out of the last 8. Yeah,
that's a lot of ties.
We have not lost in a long time now, but we also
That's
only
nice.
have only one game. This was really. I mean, I was.
Also, a lot of them have been late ties, like you're up 1-0, and then the last team gets you at the end.
And that has gone in either direction too. Among these ties, we've had all kinds of ties. And I declare, because we were really struggling for a while there and couldn't get any points, and so then for a while I declared ties are like wins. In 2023, ties are like wins for us. These last 2 did not feel like wins. They felt like they felt definitely like ties. I mean, the game on Wednesday I was at against Charlotte, and that was just one of those where we had so many chances.
That was a 2-2, right? Was it?
That was
they
a
were
1-0.
up 2-0. Oh no,
that was a 1-1. That was a 1-1. I mean,
Charlotte, Cincinnati. Sorry,
Charlotte had 1 shot on goal, and then we had so many shots, so many chances, and then only got a late equalizer, which was fun. But then we really should have won that game. Thales Magno, he gets himself in good positions, but he does not finish. And then the same thing on Wednesday was on Wednesday we had Justin Hack, homegrown Justin Hack, scored his first professional goal, and I was saying to somebody in a text that he hit that ball harder than Thales Magno has hit a ball all season. Like, he really crushed that. I first thought it was a toe poke, but it was not on. And then Columbus got Cucho Hernandez thrown out with a second yellow, and which then Wilfried Nancy was very upset about, and also got thrown out, and there was a lot of turmoil, and then I thought, I was actually watching this on delay. I was at a birthday party, and I came back, and I asked my son if I should watch it or not, and his expression kind of, gave away that we had not won this game. So I was like, even when we were up and it was like 15 minutes ago and a man up, and I was like, something's going to happen. And sure enough, we gave up another kind of dumb goal. And I mean, if you're a glass half full kind of guy, like, yeah, I mean, Hans Wolf is saying he was so happy for Hack. Me too. I jumped, even on delay, I jumped out of my seat. I mean, that kid, he has he's been on that team a long time, and he's just now a regular starter. And this is, I mean, yeah, and he is really, he's from the 5 boroughs. He's from, I think, East Village and Brooklyn. He spent some time. So this was just feel good all along, like all around. I was so happy for him. And yeah, if you're a glass half full kind of guy, like I mean, there's a lot of good signs from this team. The team has not thrown
8
the
games
towel.
Undefeated, right?
8 games undefeated, and this was. I mean, these were 2 games that we really. I didn't look what the XG was and all of that, but these are 2 games that we should have won. So obviously the results are frustrating, but it's a lot of positives. And if we ever fucking sign a striker, good things could happen. A lot of people coming back. Thiago Martins. I mean, this is really, when you're talking about Nick Cushing, no one's gonna have him in the running for Coach of the Year or anything, considering where we're at in the table. But he's doing a good job. He has expanded this roster in spots where like Kevin O'Toole is getting time, Turnbull, Justin Hack, all these guys. And it's so valuable for them. They're never going to be on the national team or whatever, but like and when there's new people coming in, this is only going to be good. We're going to have these players that are ready to go, that are honest to God depth pieces that you can throw into a game, which, like 6 months ago, you wouldn't have thought that about Stephen Turnbull so.
It's
anyway,
safe to say I had no feelings against it with Stephen Turnbull 6 months ago.
I'm sure
he was not really in my mind.
No.
Nick Cushing can't be Coach of the Year. He's spending all his days at Bergdorf Goodman
during the tie section.
I'm
saying he's not gonna, but the people who are
he's at Barney's. The
people who are Cushing, who want him to be fired, are not watching the games. This is a team that's figuring it out. I think.
Where there is soccer, there will be people who want those people fired. That's just a fact.
Well, yes, especially in our fan base, it's very
in our little sphere,
very high expectations. But yeah, I mean, yeah, frustrating results. We could have certainly used those extra 4 points. We would have been in a playoff spot because right now there's a bunch of teams. There's a bunch of teams with 26 points. And
the one with by far the worst goal difference is on top because wins is the first tiebreaker, and for whatever reason, and the drawmeisters that we are, according to Hans Wolf, we will not have that tiebreaker in our favor. So yeah, we're gonna need some more points to make the playoffs, and yet Twitter continues to be ablaze with all kinds of striker announcements that are supposedly imminent, but yeah, Carlos, what's his name? Carlos Tevez coming in.
Carlos Tevez, also not a 9. No, last time I was saying how the Red Bulls had been a little unlucky. This time they were a little lucky.
I was going to say the big talk this week in MLS was officiating, just across the board. My favorite. Did you see that the biggest thing of the weekend was that Cincinnati player against Kansas City? The guy who just ran in the center circle, just shoved him over.
Yes,
remember?
I saw that
because he was time wasting before the. I'd never seen some of that before. Also, the Gold Cup, somebody for this is a great region to see very specific things. We'll get in the Gold Cup in a second, but the Gold Cup, the ref, right when the game started, the ref just gets the ball slammed in his face, and then really they don't really have a replacement plan. So they're the 4th official
has to go in
for a bit, and then thank God it was a doubleheader. So they called the assistant linesman from the last game, who was only like 20 minutes out because he left or whatever, and like, turn around, come back, we need you for the second game. So he turned around, came back, replaced it. So the first half of the USA Canada game had 3 different AR linesmen on the same line in one half. And that poor assistant referee didn't just do 2 games. The second game went into overtime and penalties. The dude had a long day.
Yeah.
But anyway, MLS officiating all around, and the New York Red Bulls were very lucky. Pro released a statement today that the decision was wrong. They said, we're wrong. That should have been a goal. And good on them. I do like that, by the way. I like.
And Troy, I think Troy, to his credit, like basically apologized, right, to Bruce Arena right after the game. I
maybe, probably, I would. Troy's like that. He's an honest.
And he was saying how, you don't want to really win a game like that. Which, I mean, good for him. That's pretty.
I like it.
That's a stand-up move.
I mean, we don't want to lose a game like that. It was we were up 2-1. It was our game. We were very dominant. And then at the end, they got that, they stuck a goal in, very sloppy. And then thank God the referee pulled some stuff off his butt to disallow it. We're like, I'll take it. we'll take it. we need 3 points. But yeah, apparently the way it worked was, what's his name? The guy, Andrew Farrell, right? Andrew Farrell scored it from outside the box. And Carlos Coronel, his sight was blocked by one of the New England Revolution's Varane. I think Varane is his name. Blocked, and it went in the goal. And then they disallowed it because that's an offside. If you're in an offside position, you block.
But your defender made a play.
Tom Barlow, our number 9.
Oh, not a defender. Yeah.
At a certain angle, at one angle, you saw the player was in the way, and that's what he called he looked at VAR, saw that, and said no goal. However, you look at a different angle, all their super secret angles, you would have seen the ball deflected off Tom Barlow's foot real quick there at the end. And that should have canceled the offside thing because it went off one of our guys. And they missed that part. So when they took the goal away, they didn't see the Tom Barlow thing. Then later it came out. It's like, oh, oops. You're right. Tom Barlow should have made it a good goal. So that should have been a 2-2 game, but it was 2-1. We'll take it because we need points, and we need points against New England, Cincinnati.
You were able to join the 26 club.
26 club with a game in hand, I might add. And
we have 2 more games than everybody else.
Yeah, we have 2 games in hand.
I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging about our position in the table. I'm not. I'm really not.
No, I mean, we're all in the same party. Parity at work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 26 points. Montreal, the Red Bulls, Chicago, and Charlotte. Chicago is ahead of us. Yeah. This is a sad.
But look at the goal difference. I think we have the best goal difference, right? We're at -1, and Montreal's
-1.
Like
we have -4. Montreal is -9.
Yeah,
but that's not it. The first tiebreaker is wins, and Montreal's got 8. We got 5. We got all those draws, man. The ties from Bloomingdale's, from the Bloomingdale's ties section.
The men's department,
where Nick Cushing likes to hang out.
But yeah, there's all sorts of weird, like that shove was only a yellow. I'm like, what the? How is that not a straight red?
That's not allowed.
He just runs and he shoves the guy in front of the ref in front of everybody. Wilfred Nancy got himself a red. Anyway, Gold Cup.
They went to VAR just to throw out the assistant also. It's just so weird. It was weird.
Oh, MLS officiating. Christina Uncle always defending it, like always, being like, hey, refs could have a bad day. It's like, yeah, but they didn't have bad days every week all season long. So, anywho, Gold Cup, baby.
As long as we're ahead of Toronto. I mean, being behind Chicago is bad. As long as we stay ahead of Toronto, I'm okay.
Toronto is a super dumpster fire. As long as Bernadeschi's still vaping, they're still Lorenzo Insigne is on his way to Saudi Arabia, people are saying.
Like everybody else. Are we going to Saudi Arabia, by the way?
You and me?
Yeah, we've got
this podcast.
We're gonna everybody's going. We must have an offer. Do we have an offer?
We got an offer from Al Hilal and Al Ittihad. Where do you want to go, Al Hilal or Ittihad? One has the better history.
What are the offers? How much? Listen, we don't have to. Let's just be honest. This is going to be about the money. Like, how much are they paying us?
One is offering $41 billion a year. The other is offering $41.1 billion a year. So what do you think?
Oh, that's very close. That's a lot.
But one's in the desert and the other's in the desert.
Oh.
And there's no
It's a
water,
tough
there's no
decision.
sun.
It's a difficult decision. But $41 billion a year. But we can't come out and just say, what are we going to tell people?
However, the rules are we have to learn Arabic, and we can't
That's fine.
broadcast our podcast outside of the Middle Eastern region anymore. It has to remain on the airwaves only. We're not allowed to be on the internet anymore. Only on the airwaves in the Middle East.
All right. What are we going to tell people, though? We don't want to say it's just for the money. That's not good. But $41 billion a year, we can't turn down. That is too much.
This is the Halal Brothers podcast, not to be confused with the very delicious, famous food cart, also called the Halal Brothers. No, the Halal Guys is what it's called.
Halal Guys, yeah.
Halal Guys.
Used to be Rafiki's. Rafiki's was big in New York, but they take half, says Hans Wolf. Why would we take less than they're offering? Just to corrupt, be only half corrupt? Just lose it, just give up half of our integrity for $21 billion a year.
Yeah, can it be 21 billion? I can barely. I can scrape by. What the heck is that? I can't even afford food. I'm 41 billion or bust.
Gotta pay
21 billion? You kidding me? We live in Hooverville.
Anyway, the Gold Cup.
Hans Wolf, have you guys already planned to get on a Thread social? Yes. In fact, I was looking at all that because our social media game is very poor because I'm old and I don't like social media. And I try to do my best. Put photos to make the Rose Bowl up.
Twitter seems to be dying. I was checking out Threads the other day, and I did not initially enjoy it because you can't set your feed to only show things from people you're following. All of a sudden, I was reading missives by Mark Zuckerberg and Shaquille O'Neal and like people who I'm not all that interested in. So that was a turnoff right away. I'm gonna check it out because Twitter clearly seems like it's imploding. So I don't know.
So this is the story. For years, Twitter has pissed people off and people have gone off. And in my mind, in my heart, I'm like, for crying out loud, a nonprofit needs to get together and create a social media thing that we can all use, have a good time. And
I thought that's what Blue Sky was, or
that's what Mastodon is.
Oh,
Mastodon, a German social media company, and they have increases every time Twitter pisses someone off. They have a whole bunch of people from India hopping over because India had a whole thing where they created their own Twitter because they hated Twitter, and like it's just apparently it failed, but Mastodon should be what we're all going to. It's a nonprofit social media thing, just like Twitter, that is open source and free for the public. It's like we should all go to that.
It's an unappealing name.
But
why? But yeah, I was wondering too. Why is everybody gravitating towards the Zuckerberg thing all of a sudden?
Meta fired all my friends 6 months ago. Meta is as bad, if not worse, than Twitter. It's like you're hopping from one frying pan to the exact frying pan. It's like, are we stupid? It just goes.
That's what people on Twitter like. People on Twitter like to be mad at somebody. They like to be powerless, angry and powerless.
The sad thing is we have to go where people are going. And the only people who have powerful enough to buy word of mouth are the big billionaire companies, like a Twitter, like a Meta. Blue Sky is the other one. Blue Sky, I think, is run by a bunch of former fired Twitter engineers.
Right.
And they're doing their thing. So, but what I'm
waiting to be invited to Blue Sky.
Oh, you have to be invited?
Yeah, you have to be invited.
I'll figure that out. I will. My plan is to get on something like Hootsuite, which apparently shut down. Some sort of aggregator. Hootsuite. It's a company used that if I post on Hootsuite, it then posts to all 10 social media services at the same time. One of those things. Pros use it. So I was looking to that for the Schnitzel boys.
But that means you're just broadcasting. You're not really engaging.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, we're not engaging at all. I think after 2.5 years, we have 30 followers at best. So, anything I do would improve our social media game. It's not good. Follow us on Twitter for very random photos once every 3 months. Or for me at stadiums and food reviews. I posted a really cool photo of me at Rose Bowl. So much to talk about. I was at the Rose Bowl. 82,000 fans, Bjorn. Packed Rose Bowl arena.
Fun game, too.
A really fun game. I was really excited. You know why? Because I wanted to meet Roberto Carlos, an idol from my childhood. Roberto Carlos was there. He was at a meet.
But they were
in the parking lot.
Oh, so you met him?
No. I was in line. The line to meet Roberto Carlos, I was in line at 4:30. And then, or maybe before 4:25. And the line moved so slowly that by 5:45, an hour and a half later, I was still really, really far away from the tent. And then the line dissipated at 5:45. And everyone just randomly followed a guy off in the distance because I was in the back of the line.
Oh.
Everyone just followed this guy down the street to the Rose Bowl, which means Roberto Carlos came and went, and I couldn't even see him. Not even from a distance, I couldn't even see him. And then I spent an hour and a half waiting in line for nothing. That's my Roberto Carlos story. And then he waved at the stadium, so I have a photo from a million miles away. But the game was amazing. Fireworks from the crowd, flares, singing, dancing. It wasn't just a bunch of people at the stadium. It was a bunch of MLS fans at the stadium. It's like all the fans came out. Half LAFC, half Galaxy. They were real fans. It was amazing. It was such a fun night.
That's awesome.
My first time at the Rose Bowl. 82,000 for an MLS game. Euro snubs. Eat it. It was an amazing game. Then I went to Galaxy Philly, also a fun game. Okay, Gold Cup, USA, Canada. Hans Wolf asked if I'm going. I'm thinking the semifinals in San Diego on Wednesday and the finals at SoFi. And my friend works at SoFi. Even mentioned he could probably get me club seats for the final. So, although I think he's busy that weekend, but technically I could if I wanted to. So I have 2 games I could go to, and I'm debating to go to both of them. On Wednesday, I have a show. So for me to go to the USA game, I'd have to skip the show, which I might do. So I'm thinking about that. So I might go. But USA eked by Canada. There was a late goal by Brandon Vasquez at his hometown, at his home stadium. It was supposed to be the thing.
And we thought this is going to be it.
This was going to be it. It wasn't. There was some bonkers handball only caught by VAR. No one saw it really. And Canada got themselves a penalty. Then Schaffelboy scores a winner. Supposedly a winner in extra time. It's like, oh crap, Canada's leading 2-1. Uh-oh. It's an extra time. There's only 8 minutes left. But then we had a bing bong own goal, and we took a 2-2 on to penalties where Matt Turner was a boss and freaking blocked all but I think one penalty. And we won, baby. Off to Panama we go. The Gold Cup dream. I'm loving this Gold Cup. The games are great. They're good games. I'm having a great time watching this Gold Cup. The USA-Canada game was a little boring at first, but it really picked up there towards the end, and it was a lot of fun. And I think the USA-Panama game is going to be equally as fun. And heck, I think the U.S. are going to win themselves on the Gold Cup, Bjorn. A B team against Mexico's A team.
Really?
I'm here for it, and I love it. I love it.
Awesome. I'm just happy Jimmy Sands is doing well.
Yeah, you got a full analysis from the geniuses at the Fox Sports crew, and talked about how important he was and so forth. And yeah, he's been good for the tournament. It's been good for the game. And then Landon Donovan had his shiny comments where he's like, Christian Pulisic needs to come to MLS now where he can get game time. And right away online, people are like, well, Landon Donovan showing his mental frailty.
Losing brain cells along with his hair.
Yeah, exactly. Like Landon Donovan.
This is it's really sad to see how there's a certain contingent of users who just because this team is mostly MLS players, they just want them to fail. They're not rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, or they're not.
Somebody was tweeting. Who was it? Oh, I don't remember. It was so I forget who it was, but they were tweeting how why did we let Greg shadow manage that handball penalty when BJ was doing so well managing the Brandon Vasquez goal?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. All I know is that there's an ongoing war against American soccer the way it is, and I understand where it comes from. I went on Reddit football, one of the Reddits where they're just like football, screw soccer, Euro snob central, and there was a very simple thread of like, who's your club's worst signing? Everyone put down like Fellaini at Man United and bop. And I wasn't trying to troll. I was like, oh, I'll answer this. Rafa Marquez, Red Bull New York, and I got downvoted so hard, suggesting that a Barcelona player could be a negative impact on an MLS club.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm just sharing the truth, guys. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it's true. And I'm like, the concept of a player from a higher league not walking into an MLS team and dominating is just so foreign to them. When it literally never happens, ever in 30 years of this league, that has like happened once or twice at best. We've talked about it. Like the best players are Robbie Keane and Giovinco. Not your Mateos's, not your Valderramas, not your Rafa Marquez's.
David Villa had a good run before.
Yeah. There are before he, what I'm saying is it happens, but it's not an expectation. Different places, different cities, different teams, different scenarios always affect you. So anyway, screw the Euro snobs. just a real soccer fan knows home soccer leagues and home soccer teams are the backbone of any program. I mean, it's as simple as that. The Bundesliga get the Prem, but they have the Bundesliga. They have their clubs. They got Mainz. They got players and coaches coming from Mainz, so they can go. So the best can go forward. That's how that works. MLS is the same thing. Brandon Vasquez is being tracked by Borussia Mönchengladbach because of MLS, because he had an opportunity to play at Cincy. He didn't play at Atlanta. He found his footing in Cincy. He became a better player. And what do you know? It's maybe time for him to move on to Europe. See how that works, Twitter? Anyway, that's all. That's my
See how that works, Twitter or Mastodon or Threads?
Find us on Mastodon, Schnitzel Boys, only on Mastodon, because I refuse to tweet for a big mega corporation. We're an ad-free fan cast, and we're going to the German nonprofit social media service that many have claimed is already dead, but it doesn't matter. We're going to be there. Mastodon, 10 million registered users. I'm going to get them all. Yeah.
All right.
Reality, find us on Blue Sky and Threads. That might be my project this week, is to get us out on all the social media.
Great.
I know. I'm trying to think of even set up an Instagram. I don't know. Anyway, I'm loving the Gold Cup. Did you watch the Gold Cup, Bjorn?
I did watch that game. Yes, all of it, all 120. I mean, I'm glad you loved it. I thought this was not the kind of where I was like, oh, overtime. It was not a pretty game.
Yeah, but the end was exciting.
It was very exciting. It got very exciting. Jacob Schaffelberg,
Jakob Schaffelberg,
he scored a wild goal. Yeah, no, I mean it was exciting, but it was very choppy for a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, the whole time the Canadian John Strong was kept saying like so and so was a leading scorer of MLS Next Pro last season. He brought that up over and over again.
I know there were a lot of like lower league players in the.
Yeah, that shows the difference in depth between the U.S. of A and Canada. They're star players and MLS Next Pro guy. Imagine what their Twitter's like. I mean, I'm very curious. Canadian fans, if you're listening, is Canadian Twitter as equally toxic? I don't think it is.
Well, they have a lot of issues. I mean, they can focus their anger on their federation. I mean, they're bankrupt, right? Like, I mean, so they can be mad at them instead of each other, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Am I going to go to the semifinal in San Diego? Am I going to go to the final next Sunday? Tune in next week to find out, because the answer for me is maybe on both fronts. As at this moment, I do not know. Should I go, Bjorn? Should I go? What do you think? Should I go?
Sure.
Check out San Diego Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah,
not bad. I do love some San Diego. So we'll see. I will be there rooting for my red, white, and blue.
It's where my wife was born. I've never been.
Oh, San Diego's lovely. It's really, really cool.
So
I was there last year. It was lovely. And New York Red Bulls and NYCFC only have 2 games left, right, to grab some points before the League's Cup starts. We need some points to get out of the 26 club.
Really? Do we have? It's not a lot left.
Red Bulls have 2 games left. Maybe you have less because you have a couple. Games
maybe
ahead.
Hold on there.
We have Cincinnati, which is again a stiff competition, followed by Real Salt Lake on the road, which is going to be our longest road game after Seattle.
No, we're playing in Philly. That's not going to be easy. And then, but on the 12th on this week on Wednesday we're not playing.
Okay, we have a Wednesday and a Saturday, but you guys are off on Wednesday.
We're off on Wednesday.
And then
Philly's playing in Nashville, so maybe I don't know. Maybe we can We can steal another tie, perhaps, on the road with Philly playing midweek. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you need to
keep the draw
Macy's.
keep the draw alive. Keep the draws
Macy's.
alive.
Yeah, I found Nick Cushing at the Macy's tie department. Get some ties. But then there's a month. Then there's no MLS for over a month. There's like a 35-day break. So,
but we have the Leagues Cup. I
think you have the Leagues Cup. I think I'll just be watching it on TV. Maybe we'll see. Galaxy playing Lyon.
Oh, you're not going?
Maybe.
I'm going to be there. Are you kidding? I'm going to be there with bells on, as they say. Should we bring up since we've been you mentioned MLS Next Pro. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but last time you, I believe, kicked me when I was down with MLS Next Pro derby results. Yesterday it was our turn to win the MLS Next Pro New York Derby 3-2.
I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah.
Did your U15 team won the world's biggest U15 title 2 weeks ago or whatever?
What? No.
New York Red Bulls U15 won the global U15 World Cup.
That's your comeback? We have a 7-year-old in the academy that's just crushing it.
Poor kid. Poor kid. The fact that two grown men are talking about him on a podcast is
I'm just saying you're changing the subject very quickly.
I know
is what I'm pointing out.
Congratulations, well done.
As
long as they're producing talent is all I care about. So keep it up.
Right.
Keep it up, you two.
Well, here we go then.
Cheers. This is fun. This is USA Week. Next week, probably also an hour. We discuss it every week. We don't know. We will have some Germany stuff over the summer, but it's the summer.
I'm reading the Beckenbauer book, and we're going to talk about economics at some point. Everybody's favorite subject.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for the Schnitzel boys. Cheers. Bis nächste Woche.
Tschüss.
Thank you as always to Hans Wolf and Daniel Young joining us in the chat. See you guys later.